something completely different, but what I was going to talk about was Meyer's speech and debate. But as a true debater, I can't sit there and listen to what happened previously without at least using a minute or two to make a comment. It was January of 2016 that I brought to the board's attention that there was a problem at Meyer's and the bathrooms were dirty. In fact, at that time, I invited our former superintendent and the school board to come down during the Martin Luther King tournament and see what I was talking about. My frustration is that we're now in May of 2017 and we're still talking about the same problems that Lois brought up. These aren't structural issues. These are cleaning issues. These are not having bugs, not having mice, having a safe, clean environment. So I applaud what you're doing now, and I hope in the next 3 months we see a vast difference. But the track record to date hasn't told me that that's going to happen. We'll do everything we can to help you. Meyer's is a beautiful school. It should not be in that condition. My other rebuttal is based upon the fact that it is not easy to come up here and talk to you people. People don't feel comfortable doing that. Teachers don't do it. Other people don't do it. It's difficult for us as professional people who go in front of judges every day to come up and talk to you. It's not a welcoming environment. I'm not saying that things can't change. They need to change. But let's talk. Let's do that. Let's listen. We've had a few times when teachers and counselors have come and have added things to the discussion. Let's make sure that there's more, because I think it would be beneficial to all of you to listen to all of the voices that you probably don't hear all the time. That being said, the reason I wanted to speak tonight was I wanted to talk a little bit about Meyer's speech and debate. We had our Friends and Family night last Wednesday, and Friends and Family is when all of our kids get up and they perform what they've done all year for the parents and their friends, their grandmothers, aunts, uncles, and it's a great time. We have about 20 kids perform from 7th to 12th grade. It's a real debate family. And at that time, Kim and I always do shirts for the debate team because it's really important for them. I know they can't wear them to school, but they wear them around, they wear them to tournaments, and this is our shirt this year, Meyer's Debate. And on the back is our motto, which we have had for the last 20 years, which is read, think, speak, act. And that's what we try to teach our kids, that that's what the important thing to do is. And because you guys have been supportive of our debate team for the last 20 years, and I did give the superintendent a shirt the other day when I met with him. There's a shirt for all of you in this box here that you can take and wear proudly and show your support for Meyer's speech and debate. We have great kids. We have 4 kids over Memorial Day going to nationals in Louisville, Kentucky. 2 of them, 2 young ladies, Elsa Romero and Natalie Davidson, are going to do policy debate, where they're going to talk about whether we should have economic and political relations with China, a very weighty topic. We have a young man, James Langan, who does oral interpretation. He's doing a poem about education, which really all of you should listen to. And he's also doing a piece called Frank Sinatra Has a Poll that will go back to many of us to earlier days. These kids are amazing. In the last years, we've taken, I would say, over 150 kids to nationals in places like Sacramento, Chicago, Boston, New York, Fort Lauderdale, and yes, even one of the national teams was held in Las Vegas. We didn't think it was a good idea to take high school kids there, but it worked out very well. They have lovely high schools in Las Vegas. It's a great program. It's a neighborhood program. In the debate team, we're all family. We take care of each other. The kids take care of each other from 7th through 12th grade. Our 12th graders look after our 7th graders. The young students model themselves after the older students. It's really important. Now, Reverend Walker and I were talking earlier, I think it was this week, and he relayed a story to me because we're both coaches at Myers, and so we're dealing, with the same kids. He relayed a story about a student that he knew of that had become homeless. And through the network of people in the neighborhood community, it was brought to his attention and to others' attention so that that child could be helped. And I submit to you that this is the importance of neighborhood schools. This is the importance of having a neighborhood, of having a community. And the same community that is at Myers is a JR. In fact, I'm very proud JR has a big team. We see them often, and we work with them also. But neighborhood schools and communities are important. We have the type of students now in our district who need this kind of help and support. We need to get to as many students as we can. It's important. And I ask you, when you're making all these decisions, and I could go on for hours about what I think about a lot of things, think about this. Think about what you have with the student athletes that you saw here, what you have with the debate teams that you have with the chess teams, that add important things to our students' life that frankly, from all we have read, is not going to happen when you have a consolidated school. Sometimes you just have to do the right thing. I'll leave the shirts up there, help yourself. They're all one size because I can figure sizes, I never can.
Thank you. Next, Kim Moore.
You don't have to tell me twice. I know that to be true. Because she had to take some time off of her speech about Myers Speech debate, I just want to add a couple of things that she intended to say. First is the fourth person going for us is a freshman, Bill Romero, and he's presenting material by Stephen Sondheim and Sassen, very sophisticated material. And James Lang, the senior she mentioned, this is his fourth trip to Nations. It's incredible. Now, that takes a little time off what I was going to say.
Kim, can I ask one question too?
Yes.
Can we send one of those T-shirts to the White House?
You can send two of them to the White House. You're going to need to because one of them isn't going to be there very much longer. So we've got them. Don't worry about that. And we're very, very proud of that. And that has been our slogan for 20 years. And it's been something that as proud as we are of those poor kids on the nationals, really Joe probably expressed it better than I can. The progress that these kids made from September to June, and the progress they made from 9th to 12th, and from 7th to 12th, is what we really, really appreciate. They work very hard. They're there 2 nights a week all year. Do the things we're supposed to do outside of practice. And so we're very proud of it. So I have, now it's going to be, Ruth was in a very positive state of mind. I'm in an inquisitive state of mind and a semi-negative state of mind. The first thing I want to say is, I'm glad Lois brought the pictures. They're a reality. There's no question about it. But this is not simply a maintenance and cleaning issue at Myers. I'm thrilled to come to GR because when I go to the men's room, every single sink works and the urinals are all open. At Myers, we're lucky to have a single sink working in the first floor men's room. And the urinals rarely. That's not cleaning and custodian, right? That's not putting money into plumbing. They're not plumbers. We know they're not plumbers. And when the ceilings leak, that's not the custodians and the janitors. That's plumbing. That's electrical work. That's beyond that. And there's no money being put in that. And there hasn't been in 7 or 8 or 10 years. So I really don't want this to sound like, gee, there's a cultural problem at Myers. There isn't. There's a failure to fix sinks. I can't do it. I tried it once. Many years ago, Ruth was having guests coming, and I tried to fix a sink. And I took the sink apart, got the parts, And then I read in the box, first you sweat the pipes. I didn't know what sweat the pipes meant, and that was the end of that. We had pizza that night. And so that's plumbing, all right? I can sweep a floor, not as well as the professionals, but I cannot fix this thing. And please understand, that's my problem at Myers. That's my problem. Those things aren't being done. Second, the quizzes department. We saw the presentation last week about the sites, and I don't want to see a consolidated school built anyway, all right? But the feasibility study had another school site listed, which was Solomon Biscontini. I think it's a perfect site for a right-sized school in Plains, but it disappeared, and there wasn't any reference as to why suddenly Solomon Biscontini is no longer in play. And why is that? Can anyone tell me?
The Biscontini site was, I don't recall the acreage, was about 12 acres here?
The Biscontini site? I don't recall the acreage of it, but what we have come to the conclusion was once we began looking into the parking situation and putting the new school on, we needed approximately 25 acres to meet those demands with zoning and everything else that would be required for the amount of parking. So we eliminated sites that were under 25 acres at that point because that really was the absolute minimum that we felt we could use. So that site was eliminated on top of other reasons for that.
I'm skeptical. I say I'm skeptical because combined with what the district already owns there and with what you can do with them in the domain, you've got plenty of opportunity there. And I don't understand that, and I think that there should have at least been an explanation why a school that was promoted in the feasibility study is demoted and basically cut, waved out of the lid. Third point, I took time while we started today to add up how much money was being spent out of district for special education. Just how much was spent this month, $500,000. We have talked for a long time about the prospect of this district turning that from a liability to an asset and actually providing those services to our students. So we save $500,000 this month and actually provide the services as an for other districts so that we actually make money. So much of this issue about consolidation has been run on the question of finances. And this is a whole. And it's also not good for our students that we're sending them out for these services away from their families. And we can provide that service with professionals. We have the ability to do that, and we have the facilities to do that. That's a gaping hole in the budget that if it were fixed, frankly, we could have with these schools, in my opinion. Fourth, and this is the cap for me. We have heard for a long time that we are the lonely voices in the desert who oppose school consolidation. Tuesday demonstrates that that's simply not the case. The narrative that people want consolidation has been roundly defeated. The only non-incumbent candidates, and there were only two, one, Melissa Patton, a strong opponent of consolidation. The other, the only proponent of consolidation on the ballot who wasn't an incumbent. 550 vote differential. It's obvious that the public doesn't want consolidation. That by itself is not a reason, but since it's not educationally appropriate and it's not financially beneficial, that coupled with the public opinion ought to be enough for you to reconsider your position. Furthermore, it certainly is enough for you to go ahead and put this on a referendum for the general. That's the issue. And you can't say any longer that the public is in your corner. If they're not, put it to a referendum and let that public decision be determined. Thank you.
Attorney Borland, if I could just address your concerns about special ed.
Yes.
They are concerns, obviously, that I've had for many, many years being the chair of Budget and Finance. And I'm proud to say that this district is moving in the right direction. We have recently sent out letters to special ed parents who send their children to New Story, to Graham Academy. We spend $80,000 a child a year to send a child outside of this district. But we are moving in the right direction. We have a site now that we can actually start our own self-contained special ed school. And I'm hoping to see the start of that in September.
I think that's fantastic, and I'd like to see the board's commitment by the level, but that's what they're going to do. And, have a specific plan to get that accomplished, because it would make a major difference for those students, and it would make a major difference for these taxpayers.
If I could just stop for one moment, Christine, if that's okay. Mr. Borland, the special education has kind of been a debate within our district. I don't think I talked about it at lunch the other day, but
It's only an hour.
I was going to say, it was probably only about an hour for us. But the situation is, we had realized that probably back in September and October, our numbers for special education were increasing to a point where we were trying to see what we could bring back. And our former director of special education had began telling us that there was some access money that would be available, and we had somebody who was doing access, and that basically we could reclaim some of this money. We put that into play, and I know there was some scuttlebutt about this in regards to that there was $6 million, $5 million, $7 million that we should be reclaiming. They compared us to another school district like Hazleton. With what we found out through the reclaiming aspect was, it came out to about $200,000 that we believe that we could possibly reclaim, but not the $6 million that some people had thought or were misled. So with that money, that's one thing that we most certainly are going to plan on trying to get. The next issue is with our students, as Christine spoke about, Ms. Katzok, in regards to some of our students who go to New Story, the average cost for us, it can be up to $80,000. And sometimes they're part-time, full-time. When you begin looking at these students right now, we had less than 25 students that were out of New Story. So we came to the conclusion that we could definitely bring some of these people back and do a better job. It wasn't financial, and we knew that we would benefit financially, but we also believed that we could do a better job than some of these other agencies offered. And what we began to do is, I think it was it 2 months ago, Christine, when we had our last meeting with Budget Finance? We had a presentation on what it would bring back to the district. What we ended up coming up with roughly was, if we were able to bring back somewhere between 15 students to our district and gave them all the necessary resources that we believe they would need and thrive on, we basically broke even. It wasn't a home run of financial money that we bring in. However, if we hit a threshold of 24 or 25 students, then we started to see, we then began to start seeing money that was like $150,000, $200,000, $300,000. So of course, that said, well, let's try to bring back more than we can. But initially it sounds very possible that, hey, you bring back this student, it costs $80,000 at New Story or $60,000, but when you really begin looking into it, we're doing it because we believe, A, we could give a better service, we could provide betterment, a better community aspect for our students, having them be part of a school district. And yes, we do realize that there will be a financial savings, but just so you're aware, it's not, right now, it's not in the millions. It was, it was a couple $100,000 if we were able to get it to go through. There was a letter that was sent out, and Kim, I'll talk in one moment. There was a letter that was sent out to the students who were currently that were not being able to address their needs, and that was for New Story and Graham Academy. And with that being said, that letter was sent out saying that, we want to meet with all those parents, we want to speak to them and explain what we can offer that's, we believe, better than what they're currently receiving to bring them in. And yes, our budget, and Tom, I'm just going to throw it down there for you, our budget on special education is, do you know off the top of your hand approximately? So approximately $19 million goes to special education. So if there's a way that we could bring back anything, we most certainly want to do that.
Well, special education is extremely important. It has to be done right. It has to be done with the student in mind. But New Story is not the only provider. There are a lot of other providers. And, and I'll just say, I'll take 30 seconds to say, that's a valuable conversation. But it never happens. And I have to say, if I hadn't had an extra 15 minutes to do the math this morning, feels like
Next is Joe Borland.
On that note, I have a few questions for the board today. The meeting started after the awards day, which were very nice, and it was always nice to see kids in the district doing well, and even more important, being recognized for what they're doing. We had our normal dress from the Apollo group, which is, you know, we all know where they list all the money that's being expended on various projects throughout the district. And another important question was asked by Mr. Evans about what the investment in GR is going to be over the next year. I mean, I still think it's very surprising that we're not seeing any plan for any long-term investment in GR. We're saying we're keeping the school, but beyond that, what's going to happen over the next year? It's important for us to know. And the comment really took me by surprise. And before you pass it to Paul, I want to know if anyone on the board understands how this could happen. He said it was a very rough estimate, but the exterior of GR right now is estimated to cost $9 million. And the reason why I'm asking whether anyone understands that is because my understanding, it won't be until July and reported until August, what's going on with the exterior at GR. So how are we getting estimates right now when we honestly have no idea what the issue could be on the outside of GR? And if it's just an actual just guess, what good is it to even say?
And Joe,
Except to set up how much you could be charged.
Joe, I won't speak for Gary. If I'm correct, if I'm incorrect, Gary, let me know. But that number, I believe, came from our preliminary discussions with Masonry Preservation Services, which is the expert in the field, which is doing the, I'll call it exploratory surgery right now, or will be doing it on the building. So that's just, and Gary was being as honest as he could, and that was just from a very preliminary discussion with them. We will not know for sure until they do this exploratory surgery and give us a full report. But that's where that came from.
Right, and they did a preliminary study, it was a while ago on it, and then they come up with a pilot program, which I talked about. That's going to be not to exceed $600,000. And from what they got in their original study and what they think it's going to be, they're thinking if it is what it is, it should be around $9 million. That's all in their report.
But the number that more or less is completely useless until August, because it's what they think it's going to be. If they're pretty sure that's what it's going to be, then we wouldn't need to spend the money on the exploratory surgery.
Well, right, and this exploratory surgery is going to be in more detail. When they did it the first time, they went in areas where they knew where there were issues, and they actually took some of the brick and/or stone out, and what they found was pretty much what they expected. And if that goes through the whole building, they feel they're $9 million. I mean, because, you know, members of the board asked if there was a preliminary budget, and that's the best we can do at this
Well,
stage.
and that's kind of what I have an issue with, is a preliminary budget that is completely contingent on more or less guesswork being correct on the entirety of the building based on a small section. Is that fair?
Well, I wouldn't say one small section. There were numerous areas of the building where they took parts of it.
Then why was the widespread needed?
Well, this widespread, what they're gonna do now, the pilot program, basically they're gonna take a section in two areas, approximately 30 foot wide, and from, like, take on Sherman Street, from the top of the wall, they're gonna come take just about everything down to the windows. I'm not sure how many feet, the upper windows. They're gonna take everything out of there and put it back together. They're gonna study all the steel inside, and below that, any areas where it needs, like where the mortar's missing, they're gonna do reporting, caulking.
So they're going from the windows to the wall based on their due diligence. Is that what you're saying, their due diligence there?
From the top of the wall to the top of the window, and then whatever below the window where there's deterioration, whether it be mortar, broken, I know all the lentils, which supports all the masonry above the windows, there's issues with that.
But I guess my overall question is why we're receiving a general quote on something when obviously something's very, and I'm not saying it's not required, I'm not saying it's not the correct thing to do.
Right.
And it's in depth. We shouldn't be discussing of the general quote of $9 million until we have some idea of what that new report is.
Well, I think I think from all the, you know, what they got out of the initial time they were here, I mean, it was enough for them to provide a budget, and members of the board were asking for, you know, if we had any preliminary numbers on it to help them with budget.
Well, that was my question. I want to know where the numbers came from and have an understanding that those numbers are still contingent on a certain outcome in the new warrant deficit.
Right, and you know, hopefully when we get into it, from this pilot phase, he's gonna come back and say it's 4 million. And even though we're wrong, all we have.
So would I.
So if I can answer, because it carries, it's not as defense, but whether I get my way or not, you know, bringing the school into the consolidation, we have to take into consideration the safety of these kids too.
Well, absolutely. I think we should start looking at the $40 million we're supposed to put in the GER that you're letting sit out there.
Well, I'm keeping tabs of how much we're spending on this high school, that's all. I know how much we would, I know how much we would spend on Myers if we were to renovate it properly. But this was always a mystery, because it was never touched, we never examined it in our first feasibility. But now.
It seemed like a mystery the first
Well,
feasibility.
whether I go to the trough one more time before we make a final vote, I wanna know how much we put into this building. And I wanna know exactly, that hopefully I get 4 more people here to my right or left to agree with me that this school should be in the consolidation. So I keep tabs on, with Gary, you know, monthly, as to really, and the rest of the board, if they hear, how much are we going to put into this building when this is just me, but we know that those kids can go to a new school. How much are we willing to use taxpayers' money now or, before they go? So,
Board member, I wasn't criticizing your question. I just wanted clarity on that money. And for me to be clear, I think that if GR is not the consolidation, then we really need to see money put into GR in the long-term plan, which we haven't seen yet. Unless we want the land obsolescence of this school as well. The second question is, it was election season, as we all know, and I took notice of advertisements by the Plains commissioners, and I understand the difficulty of secession from the school district after they asked the school districts to combine, but I'm curious specifically of the Plains residents on the board, what they think of secession, where clearly now the commissioners that look like they're going to be taking office after the general all said that they're going to be looking into secession, at least that section. So I think it's something the board has to talk about, and specifically the people who, not even know exactly who is,